Welcome to Arbor Spark CEO Podcast, Conversations on Economic Opportunity. My name is Paul Krutko, and I'm the president and CEO of Arbor Spark. Today, we're talking with someone who's helping shape the future of economic development, not just here in Michigan, but across the globe. Nathan Ohle. Nathan is the president and CEO of the International Economic Development Council, the largest membership organization for economic developers worldwide, representing more than 5,000 members. His career spans decades of leadership at the local, state, and federal levels, including serving time as a senior advisor at the U.S. Economic Development Administration. One of the things we're going to definitely talk about is the upcoming IEDC's annual conference happening in Detroit, September 14th through the 17th. We think it's a tremendous opportunity for our listeners to find out about, and if the schedule allows, to try to take part in the conference. And we're really excited that the conference is coming to Detroit because we think the region is really showing its resilience and its transformation. And for us in Ann Arbor, it's a chance for us to showcase what we just recently found out, that we're the fifth leading innovation center in the Midwest, only behind Chicago, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Minneapolis. So we're kind of proud about that. But anyway, how you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing great, Paul. It's great to be with you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, so just for the listeners to know, just that I am a shameless shill for the IEDC. Uh, I've been involved in the organization as a professional since 1995, and did have the honor of at one point being the chair of the board of the organization. But not for listeners that don't know anything about IEDC, Nathan, take a moment and talk about sort of what the mission is, why it's important, what the organization brings to the table, not only for members, but how you represent the profession in Washington and elsewhere.
Yeah, the International Economic Development Council, or IEDC, as Paul said, is the world's largest association for economic developers. And that means anyone doing economic development, from a university to a nonprofit to a public sector employee, public-private partnerships chambers. You name it, if you're doing economic development, you engage with us in some way, shape, or form. As a membership association, all of our work is centered on our members and the communities they collectively serve. How do we drive economic prosperity and quality of life in places of all sizes across every region across the world? For us, it is about engaging those practitioners, those folks on the ground, learning from them and helping them to learn from one another, building connections between and among not only those practitioners, but the communities they serve, and obviously trying to raise the profile of economic development, the work itself and the profession, but also helping to lead it into the future. We know that there's a pretty dynamic environment on the ground right now for economic developers, and so we're trying to stay on the front edge of providing tools and resources for those practitioners to do really good work, to bring them together, to make sure we celebrate the profession, and then also to help them in their own professional careers. So we have a lot of professional development offerings, both courses and two different certifications that people can go through. We also accredit economic development organizations. And then we also do a lot of research, policy, and advocacy, mostly on the policy and advocacy side here in DC at the federal level. We also engage with all the state associations, including MEDA and many others, for the state level legislation that they're working on, and certainly internationally with our international counterparts on a whole host of opportunities. And then we build partnerships, trying to help drive economic prosperity once again in communities, but also bring the field together, help them understand where they can lean in more deeply at the local or regional level, and ensure that we are lifting up the profession itself and moving the field forward.
Take a moment too and just kind of talk about some of the initiatives where communities have faced, traumatic events, and how IDC has responded. Because many times it's first, we all talk about first responders, right? The EMT, the utilities, but then in the aftermath, businesses have been, destroyed, facilities, and the IEDC has taken a leadership with the federal government in responding to that. Take a moment to talk about that.
Yeah, we've got a couple decades worth of history, really tracking back to Hurricane Katrina in what we call disaster recovery, economic development work around disaster recovery. So essentially, after those, the initial kind of life-saving efforts come in, which obviously are critical to any region, any community, helping the community think about, okay, what is the future for themselves from an economic development perspective? What should they be thinking about, in a planning and implementation side, and how do they access resources, both from the federal resources that might be available through disaster supplemental funds, for example, but also, how do they build in those connections regionally, locally, statewide to make sure that they have both a plan in place and can implement and have the resources and capacity to do those things. So it started with Hurricane Katrina, but we've dealt with hundreds of disasters across the United States and even in some cases abroad to really help those communities think about that long-term planning piece as they start to get into the recovery mode after disasters. We've also helped in economic disasters where a company or an industry leaves a community and it leaves a gaping hole for those communities, helping them to really think about the diversification efforts, the opportunities to build from within and grow from within. And then also we do a host of other technical assistance projects based on needs of communities. In some cases, we've got a new program called the Economic Recovery Corps, which is focused on long-term capacity building in communities of all sizes across the United States. But we also do very specific projects where a community has a need where we can draw from the expertise we have across our membership and add value to what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So before talking specifically about the upcoming conference, I did want to touch on one more point, which is IEDC is an apolitical organization, and one
Correct.
of the things that you do for the membership in that is difficult for us sometimes is help us understand sort of policy changes and programmatic changes at the federal level. And so I think it's an important thing that you do. And I know we all have an opportunity where at the beginning of the year where we have a chance to come to Washington and learn more about that. But I think that's something I wanted to point out to everyone, that this is a organization that it's about uplifting all communities, regardless of what their particular political persuasion might be.
That's exactly right. We're bipartisan. Economic development itself is a bipartisan issue, right? Both Republicans and Democrats, all the way across the spectrum, care about creating jobs, driving economic prosperity, and quality of life in their communities. And so, for us, we represent the full field, people from every community, every walk of life, with all very different priorities in the way that they're trying to move forward their economic development efforts. So we are the voice for economic developers, especially here in Washington, D.C. Obviously, a lot of economic developers are in close contact with their members of Congress all the way through the year. So we do have those opportunities when they come to D.C. to try and pair those opportunities to continue those connections. But it's also about helping our members understand the value and importance of building those relationships and having a voice in those conversations, not just when you come to D.C., but probably most importantly when you're at home, when you've got a congressional member who might be coming through your district, or you've got a specific issue that your community needs to attack or address in some way, shape, or form. And policy can be an incredible lever. It can also be a very difficult lever to pull. And so building those relationships all the way through the years is really critical.
Well, interesting. When I was in, just a little story for the listeners, when I was in Washington at the meeting in February, I got the chance to meet with new staff members working for Senator Slotkin. And that turned into yesterday's Senator Slotkin meeting with us here in Ann Arbor. So that's goes to what you're speaking of. So tell us about if somebody's thinking, hey, you're having this conference in Detroit and it's close to me. What can they expect if they sign up for this conference? What kind of program is it?
Well, first of all, I just want to say how excited I am to be coming to Detroit. Paul knows I'm a Michigander. I've been in the DC area for about 10 years, but grew up in Michigan, went to school at Michigan State. So being able to bring the conference back to Michigan is a really proud moment for me. And Paul has played a really integral role in bringing the conference to Detroit. We always have what we call a host committee, local partners, regional partners in that area that really help to spur the conversation around why it would be important to be in that place, but also help us to really get ingrained into the community, into the region, and the things that we're doing. These conferences are always an opportunity to highlight not just the region, but the state that we're in. And obviously, Michigan has a great story to tell in the work that's happening all the way across the state, from Ann Arbor all the way up to the Upper Peninsula. For us, this is our largest conference of the year, about 1,700 folks that come from across the globe to participate in this. There are 7 different tracks of content, so breakout sessions focused on different topics: entrepreneurship, workforce development, all those kinds of things. Obviously, we have those big plenary sessions where everyone is together to talk about important topics, but then we also do tours throughout the conference so we can get people out into the community to see the projects, to see the development that's happening. One of those tours will be coming directly to Ann Arbor. We've got a number of them in downtown Detroit, one that's going to Dearborn. So we try and get across the region so folks can get out of the conference itself and see what's literally happening on the ground in the community. And then we also do a number of events at night. networking opportunities for people to connect with one another. Whether you are coming from an international community, there's a dinner that we host for folks that are both coming from international places, but also those that work internationally. We do a number of different receptions. We do some fun ones right on site, and then we do some out across the community again to make sure that people get into the community and see it. So it's an opportunity for anyone to come and learn, to connect with other people, not just in Michigan, but across the globe, across the country, and really to take away things that they're going to learn, particularly through those breakout sessions where they can apply it to their community. It's one of the most important parts to me is where people can recognize where they had struggles or where there was difficulty or maybe even a failure of a project that helps someone else not have to go through that same failure, or to learn from what really worked well in their community or in their region that then can be applied back in your community. It's a great opportunity to learn, to connect with folks, and obviously also to celebrate economic development as a field and profession.
Yeah, one of the things that I would share with the audience is that we're excited about it being here because oftentimes local officials, people involved in economic development, don't have the budgets to travel to the conference. And so one of the things at Spark we're taking advantage of, we're going to have 14 staff members attend and give them free reign to go learn about ideas from all over the country. And I'm looking forward to a week after sitting down with that team and saying, "Hey, what session did you go to? What did you learn about?" We're excited about showcasing Ann Arbor for those folks that want to come from around the country to learn about what we're doing. But I just want to share one story that really speaks to the power of the conference. We were in Denver last year, and I got to learn about the Size Up data tool.
Yeah.
And we then reached out and we now have implemented that program and we are offering it for free to small businesses all over Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County with great pickup and small businesses finding it a great tool for them to learn about, how where can I expand? What are my peers doing? It was just really good. But without having gone to the conference, and this is the point I'm making to anybody who might be thinking, why should I go? Is I wouldn't have had that opportunity to see that on the agenda. So as we close out, where can people go? I'll let you tell them the web address. And then when we post this, we'll put it up again. But where can they go
Yeah.
to
They can
register?
go
See what's on the
right to our
program?
website, www.iedc.org. We've got a great website out that shows the whole program. So you can see the speakers in the plenary sessions. You can see the topics of the breakout sessions. You can see the tracks of content there, as well as any of the opportunities in the evening, any of the receptions, any of the ways to network. So iedc.org. And then just link straight to the conference. It's right on the homepage and easy to find. And it's a great opportunity for you not only to get connected with other folks across Michigan, but across the country, across the globe. Take a lot from it. And what I tell everyone is you're going to get out what you put into these things. And so if you're planning to come, if you're thinking about coming, even if you can only make it for a day, there's value for you to find there, whether that's around the connections with people, the learnings from the breakout sessions and topics. We encourage you to come engage with us. And most importantly, give us feedback afterwards. What else can we do to continue to make this as valuable as possible?
Well, that's excellent. And just reiterate the dates we have are September 14th through the 17th. That's a Sunday through a Wednesday. The conference has two full days on Monday and Tuesday, and half a day on Wednesday, just so everybody knows that. And the location's the Huntington Place. So those of you who might be coming from somewhere in Southeast Michigan or elsewhere in Michigan, it was Cobo Hall. It's called Huntington Place now. Has plenty of parking and lots of things to do in Detroit as well. So the host committee is also excited about the fact that we're going to have this many people. It's an economic, one of the things that you always think about stuff like this, Nathan, when you have it, it's an economic development opportunity for your community. 1,700
Yeah.
people coming here and learning about, and what we're also excited about, just to close out, is there has been a renaissance, and and the community has really uplifted itself through a lot of different ways. Philanthropic, the corporate community. I mean, there's an opportunity for those who haven't seen Michigan Central, to see that. But it also helps us change sort of a narrative that may have been out there nationally about what Detroit is And so it's a really exciting opportunity, and that's why we pursued it, and to let people know, Nate, the board gets to decide where they go. I mean, we had to make a pitch, we had to ask for the business, as we say in economic development. So excited about it. So Nathan, thanks a lot for taking a couple of minutes and sharing with us what's coming up.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity, Paul, and most importantly, thanks for your continued commitment, not just to IEDC, but hosting this conference in Detroit. As you mentioned, we make choices on these things based on good stories to tell. And Detroit, certainly, Detroit and the region have a great story to tell.
Thank you, Nathan. I want to thank our audience for listening and learning more about Spark's business development activities and how they impact the Ann Arbor region's economic future. For more information about Ann Arbor Spark, you can find us on the web at Ann Arbor USA and also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you'd like to attend, and we have it again here, if you'd like to attend the IDC conference, please visit detroit.idconline.org to register. Take care, Nathan. See you
Thanks so
soon.
much, Paul.